Even if Andrew Scheer was a licensed broker before he was elected to Parliament, his pre-politics resume is so thin it hardly bears examining. Now, now the thing that's important to determine is how much of what he said was deliberately misleading. I saw him on television trying to explain that he wasn't a licensed broker, but he had this arrangement and he was allowed to do trades. An official investigation seems to me to be overkill. He clearly exaggerated his credentials, but he got elected when he was 24 years old. I am very pleased with my record. I didn't join a political party till I was 52. I have a deep degree of, distrust is too harsh a word. I think that people in public life should have a world experience and a life experience that makes them valuable in Parliament. Now, I want Jaylin elected. She is about to turn 20. I would recommend that when she's been in Parliament with us 2 terms, you leave and go get some other experience in life. Career politicians are not healthy in our democracy. Stephen Harper had virtually he'd never been hired by anyone except on one summer job for one internship for Imperial Oil. The only other job he had was as the spokesperson for the National Citizens Coalition, which was another brand of conservative politics. Lifetime, people who are lifers in politics don't understand the day-to-day struggle of Canadians. And that's where I think it's disappointing that Andrew Scheer exaggerated his very thin credentials. I think it shows him in a fairly hypocritical light to take pot shots at the Prime Minister for, quote-unquote, only being a teacher. Frankly, Stephen Harper had less credentials than Andrew Scheer's credentials, which Andrew Scheer has now been shown to have exaggerated. But I don't think we need an inquiry into it. It's pretty clear on its face that Andrew Scheer has no life experience except being elected. And I also believe quite profoundly, and I'm distressed that it hasn't been noticed, Andrew Scheer used the position of Speaker of the House of Commons as a stepping stone to advance his political career, which breaks with every parliamentary tradition of every Commonwealth country, not just Canada. When you are Speaker of the House, you have to be, forgive the expression, politically neutered. You can't sit there as an MP and think the job of the Speaker is to protect the rights of every MP. Every MP. And you have no appeal. There's no appeal for a parliamentarian who puts forward an order. I put forward many points of order, some 20 and 30-page legal arguments to Andrew Scheer. I had to suspend disbelief every time and hope that the ruling from the Speaker was fair. I had to believe it was, or the whole system of parliamentary democracy falls apart. And it was quite wrong of Andrew to be Speaker of the House and then go back into partisan politics at all. But it's now quite clear that he used the office of Speaker and even held meetings at the Speaker's residence to start planning his bid for Conservative Party leadership. This is an aspect of what he did as a parliamentarian that hasn't received much examination, but I think he's done permanent damage to the respect of the office of Speaker. Because now who's to say that Jeff Regan doesn't leave being Speaker of the House and run for Liberal leadership someday? Now, I don't think Jeff Regan will do that, being clear. But it damages our institutions. The Speaker of the House, we go back to Louis Lamoureux in the 60s, left his party and ran as an independent every time after he became Speaker. This is something that goes, it's long-standing tradition. But every time we lose a bit of long-standing tradition in parliamentary democracy, our democracy is eroded.